Hey founders, good morning. Now in this video, right, I want to walk you through and show you the process and the simple step-by-step system that is already proven to generate over 10 million in combined sales revenue and opportunity since 2015. So you know it's not just something I cook it up. Now, first of all, listen to Saifu and his results.
Hi everyone, this is Saiful Rizal, the founder of Mathmologies. I just got off a call with Jason Lim, and I must tell you how valuable his time really is. He gave me one simple advice, just one small tip that allowed me to double the number of people that came to my workshop, and then after that, of course, it created even more sales for me, amounting to roughly $15,000. What he has structured for me, he has critiqued for me, I think will easily, potentially double or triple my return on investment, and that is something that is very difficult to do.
Now, who felt that was pretty cool? And he said something very true, isn't it? Right now, especially with AI, a lot of things are getting more and more challenging, more competitive, and more tough, more obstacles. So, and to double the revenue or even profit and profit margin is proof that it's really difficult, right? So, let's see some proof and of the numbers that I'm talking about here before we carry on. So you know, if let's say you uh, should continue to invest your time with me or not in this video. Sounds good? All right, let's get started, okay? Okay, so look at this. This one is a product selling to females and getting about $21,000 in the month of November. Selling a $10 on average is about $10 product. So this $10 product sold to and then in the month of November they collected a 21,000 order. So what I'm trying to say here is that even low ticket item, cheap prices, it can work if you understand the principles and the strategies with the tactics and using the right tools. When all things are aligned, especially with your belief system, because if you don't believe things work, if you believe someone is evil, whatever they do can't be good for you. Make sense? It's nothing to do with the opposite person. It has everything to do with how we view this world and how we see this world. And that is exactly how this young little boy closed his first $20,000, because it was a lot of limiting belief before they trained with me, right? I mean, look at this. Hey bro, are you free for a short call? Okay, I replied at 9:09 p.m. I said okay, and then we got on the call. We ended the call within a few minutes. He go on, and then after that 9:38 later, do you see that? Within the same day, in under 30 minutes. And then he said, bruh, I closed her for $20,000. Now imagine that was you. Within 5 minutes of a phone call and within 30 minutes of the conversation, you closed $20,000. How would your life change? How would your life be transformed? How would your life be improved for your family as well? Look at this. So I asked, did any of the teaching I gave you help? He said, my freaking first deal, bruh. He said, truly helped, built confidence, and gave clarity. Isn't that something that money might not even be able to buy you? If you're already trapped and stuck in confusion and frustration, then I ask that you keep an open mind throughout the entirety of this video. Watch it to the end of it so you can truly find out how you can benefit off it, so that you can tap onto and take advantage and leverage on my 20 years of sacrifice. So you don't have to suffer like I once do. Because I sacrificed and I struggled. I sacrificed away my family, my titi, my mommy, time with them in order to find out these secrets. In order to provide for them, in an attempt to connect with them, I got disconnected. And it's painful to disconnect because to reconnect is not as easy. It's like a broken limb, it's like a broken shoulder, broken leg. Yes, it takes time for the bones to heal back, but it's never the same again, isn't it? So I really don't want you to face that situation, especially if you're just starting out. And if you're already also in similar situation like me, then I don't think that the next 10 years to live in confusion and not getting clarity and confidence should be the right way of living at all. I don't think that it should be your version of model of the world that you should be trapped. Right? Let's continue. Right? Because at the end of the day, I told you, right? It's actually like old belief. Your system of belief has to be broken down. Otherwise, you keep learning new information and new information over and over again. Yet, it becomes like a constipation that you cannot produce result. You look at this. This week broke down so many old beliefs. I think I'm on the verge of having an additional $10,000 in my bank account. Look at that. More often than not is the limiting beliefs, your old beliefs, that's holding you back and holding you down. Right? And if you were to break apart and pull away, chances are money start flowing into your life easier. Right? Just like Sean. Look at this. Managed to reconnect with another long lost client, preparing quotation now, potentially 11,000 on the line. Okay. And I asked him, is this on top of the $20,000 sales that you already closed? He said, yep, this is the fourth one. Wouldn't that be nice? A fourth deal, not just something that worked for one time, but for many, many times. So let's do some checks at this point of time, right? First, we have Saifu that made over $15,000. We have a female product that makes an additional 21,000. That's total of unlock of $36,000 right now. And then this one closed 20,000, so there's another 20 down, which is 56 now. And then we unlock another 10, that's 66,000 worth of results. And now it's 99,000 worth of results. Okay? So at this point of time, who feels that it's really worth your time to continue listening? I say I. Type I in the chat, okay? Okay. Now, this is an old laundry business. Old laundry business, you know, boring, traditional. Nothing gets more boring than this. You take the clothes, you go back, you wash, and you deliver. That's it. Nothing exciting. Even for a business like that, they benefited. Why? Because it works. Look at this. 12 outlets, estimated 3,006 per outlet or total? Total. So their per outlet is about 300 per month. So this is wow. This will put the total contract value between $43,000 to $57,000. Correct? And then he said, and then after that he said, yep. So let's do some math over here. So he closed 50,000 per year, right? All right. So okay, well, you might be thinking, no, he closed 40 plus to 50. Yeah, let's be optimistic, right? You know, your business is already pessimistic as it is already. So let's be optimistic, okay, that he closed 57, which he did, right? He did. I think he almost got it to 60 or so. Okay, so, and then, let's say, not let's say, okay, in the last 6 years, he got at least 10 customers, you know. Let's say that we don't count too much. Let's just only say that he got an extra 10 clients after the program for 6 years. Can you imagine if you only close you only close 10 years. Sorry, 10 years. You only close 10 clients in 6 years. All right? But each client pays you 57 per year. For 10 clients, that will be paying you 500,000 per year. In 6 years, it would have been a total of 3.4 million. Now, my question to you listening to this and watching this right now is very simple. As of this right now, who don't mind another 3 million in the next 6 years? You might be thinking, but Jason, I'm not in this kind of business. I don't have 57,000 contract per year. Hey, remember limiting beliefs? What if you learn how to redo your business model, restructure your offer, and reorganize your product value? Can you have 10 products selling at 10,000 each? Can you have, 5 products selling at 10,000 each, or 10 products selling at 5,000 each? Why not? Okay, so don't let your limiting belief hold you back right now, because maybe you are seeing this for the first time in your life. Right now, you are as if being exposed to an F1. Of course, you don't have the skills to drive that car yet, but doesn't mean the car doesn't work. Doesn't mean you can't do it. You can do it. Everyone can. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Just like driving, swimming, and driving, swimming, walking, even using the computer that you're watching this right now, right? 20 years ago, the technology would have been frustrating and pull our hairs out. So don't let your limiting belief hold you back. Right now, you're exposed to an F1, you're exposed to a yacht, you're exposed to a super jet, right? You don't have the pilot license yet, only because you have not been trained yet. And because you have not been trained, it's very normal that your business right now is not to your dream goals yet. It's like you're trying to win the gold medal in Olympics, but you never train for it. You know how long does the athletes train to actually get to gold medal? And you know, some of the most successful entrepreneurs, business owners, and founders I've met, how long they trained before we saw them on the pedestal. Sam Altman, founder of OpenAI, how many years of grinding and grinding? I mean, you look him up in the YouTube. How many years of grinding and grinding and grinding until finally OpenAI put him on the map, right? So don't let your limiting beliefs stop you now. Remember this, you can do it. I believe in you. You are here, aren't you? All it takes is a practice, is a training to get there. Now let's recap at this point of time. Let's review. Just with these 5 results alone, the total sales revenue is over $3 million. And I have not even factored in and calculated the 4 graduates before the laundry shop. Can you imagine if I took all of their combined sales revenue from the first day they trained with me, and they're still using the principles, still using the business model today, still selling the same products, still closing the deals? Can you imagine that? Right? And these are actual sales revenue. These are actual results that's produced, tangible, is measurable, and is actual. It's not testimonial, it's not endorsement, it's not opinions. It's not what I think it can do, that kind of testimonials or endorsement. It's actual tangible proof that it works. Right? So that's just this 5. Now let's continue. Who others have I trained and helped? Right? This one is a tuition center, makes 10,000 in one day. Right? This is a fund manager. Okay? And he makes I thought he has 30 signed up to his event, but actually he had 45. Wouldn't that be amazing? In his first 16 days. This was every result you see here is under 100 days. And this one in particular was a special and unique one. It happened within 16 days that he made 29,000, and within 49 days he completed his first event. Right? So let's do some math on his product as well. At his first event that he started with me, there's $29,693 collected. Now, here's some forecasts. If he ran 8 events for the rest of his years, only 8 events, all right, maybe per year, maybe only in his entire lifetime, maybe he run 1 per year, so that's 8 per year, right? Okay, let's use a very linear forecast that he makes 8 times of the first event. That's it. No extra numbers, no bigger events, no nothing. And if he can raise 2 million per event, because he's a fund manager with a CMS license, that means he can raise capital in Singapore. Okay, and he manages capital. That will put him at a total AUM, asset under management, of over $16 million. And as fund managers, they also earn a fee to manage the capital, and that will be a total of $320,000. Wouldn't that be cool? If it works for people at like him on his level, would it work for you at your level as well? You might be thinking, nah, maybe it's too far-fetched, it's too much, it's too big, and at your level, maybe you're just a beginner and you're like, can I really use this? Is this talent driven? Of course not. Before I was able to help top achievers, top performers, and high achievers like them, I was helping everyday ordinary founders like you and I. I did not grow up in a mansion with 80 yards and 800 acres of land. I grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment in HDB, sharing a living room with my little brother. I feed for myself since 14 years old, working in McDonald's. Ever since I'm 14, I've never stopped working. I have to prove my worth ever since I was born, because my mom had to choose between to abort me or to give birth to me, because our financial condition was so bad that my grandmother had almost forced her to abort me. So ever since I'm born, I have to push it and force it and always prove my value, that I'm worth her choice, I deserve her choice, I'm her right choice, because she fought her grandma, my grandma, her mom, to give birth to me. And as a result, their tension and their relationship was very bad because of me. And she moved out because of me. I wish that never happened to any mother that's listening to this right now. That you never have to enter a situation where, because of financials, you have to decide if you need to keep the kid or to give it up. Because the DNA memory of that kid still lives on 10, 20, 30, 50 years later. Even if you don't believe it, the sun still rises from the east and sets from the west, but the sun doesn't actually move. The DNA of a kid is very real. And I wish that no mom and no mother, no parents has to ever live through that kind of decision again and give birth to the next kid that has to feel terrible like me. So I've been helping the ordinary kid, the people like me who needs to prove their worth and never really have a sense of security and belonging, always protecting their survival, always in a state of survival. This is who I've been helping for the longest time, for the last 20 years. So before I'm helping people who are top achievers, people who are high performers, I'm helping people like you and I. All right? Just like Dean, this photographer you see here. He was just selling photography service. He has no idea about how to sell his photography service for better and better, you know. And he made an extra $8,000. All right. As you can see here, the total value stacking is very, very astronomical number right now. It's already over 20 million. Okay. But still, it has nothing to do with what they have achieved. It has everything to do with this photographer that has accomplished over $8,000, which is his highest package that he never thought of closing. Wouldn't that be amazing? Right? You know, I kind of like when people say that, I only serve the rich and privileged. I mean, come on, man, you have no idea what I've been through and who I've really helped. The ones I truly serve are people like Jia Hao, man. Fight with his wife for starting his business. Every one of my graduates fought with their spouse and parents for chasing their dreams and goals, in order to provide and protect for their family, to give them their dream goal, their earning of their income, and provide their financial stability and their freedom. But they have to fight through it. That's who I help. So don't you ever say that I'm only serving the rich and the privileged. 90% of everyone I served are people like you and I. People like myself. Parents told to go and get a job and a comfortable job, and I don't want. And yet since 21, I've never worked for anyone since I was 21. People like Jia Hao trying to make it as well. Now he's a very successful math tutor and influencer. He started coming to learn, and then he started to see that he can get his first $2,000 coming in. The moment, the switch inside of you when you click and you make the 2,000, the first time in your life ever. Some of you watching this, maybe you're already in the 10 million level. That's fine, right? 2,000 doesn't move the needle for you anymore. Okay, but remember, do you remember that first $1,000 you took in your life? Do you remember the first 10,000 feeling? Because if you have forgotten that feeling, I want to bring you back. Without that passion, what else are we? Without that feeling, what else are we? Without that motivation, what else are we? Isn't it true? The passion that you started this business in the first place. The purpose that makes you started everything. Remember it. Because when you remember it, things like this can transform for you as well. Just like this. Collected the largest amount from any one student in 1 month. Okay, what is your largest amount? I don't know. But imagine you close your largest amount. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't it be amazing? Okay. And this is and for those of you who are still thinking that this is only for the achievers and performers, this is for people who are already very talented. Right now I want to show you this, and one more and we are done with showing you this, and then we go into the teaching. Sounds good? I'm going to show you some frameworks and formulas. I'm going to give you a super mind shift today. I'm going to give you the super truth today, so that you can also be one of my successful graduate on my wall of champion, and for me to celebrate you as well, putting your results up here to inspire everyone else. Long after I'm gone, still being celebrated, because my graduates will take over and share your story with the world, your struggles, your sacrifice, your sufferings, so that the next person who is hidden in the dark corner can see some light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully rainbow by the end of the day, and finding the pot of gold underneath that rainbow. Now, this is just a 29-year-old kid. He's only 29. He offers PSLE oral coaching. He offers communication coaching for exams, specifically in the exam of PSLE. Okay, and he's only 29. At 29, he broke through his first $20,000 a month with me. And look at this. I asked, hey, to clarify, for those reading your testimonial, you break through your first $20,000 a month in your first 54 days with me. And he said, yeah, man. I was so proud of him. And I'll be so proud of you when you decide to embrace and accept. If you're accepted into the mentorship program, I'll be so proud of you as well, to celebrate you. Finally, one of my first motivation and desire of how I build my programs. This graduate here, when he first came to me, he was just selling a website design. Look at what he said here. My $2,000 deal turned into $2 million opportunity over a website pitch. I still cannot believe it. It was such a mind-blowing experience that a pitch had opened doors for my life, and in ways I could never imagine and never thought possible at all. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Jason! Exclamation mark. I can't believe it! So good. Me too, I can't believe it. I know my program works, I know my principles work, I know my strategy is proven, but it still astonished me how, and it still surprised me how well it works. Because the fundamentals are the same, the principles are the same, the strategies are the same, but you could be the next person that takes it to the 10 million level. I don't know, maybe 100 million level even. Okay, maybe some of you just want to make an extra 10,000 a month. That's fine as well, right? But for some of you, maybe your ambition and your dream is to build a 10 million business. This could take you there, right? Now, why is this so important to me? Because this one, when he first came to me, the banks were already coming after the furnitures. He has 5 kids, 2 older parents, a wife. He cannot afford to fail. He cannot afford to lose. And I cannot afford to disappoint. I cannot leave him hanging. I cannot in good conscience take his mentorship fees and do nothing for him. My program is his last straw, his last ditch of effort, the last of everything. And when, as a teacher, if you are listening to this, as a coach, as a mentor, as someone who speaks on the stage, if you are someone like that, I want to tell you this. Do not do this for the sake of money. This is not a job for humans. This is not a job for human being. You got to sacrifice way beyond a $10,000 coaching package. If you're not prepared for that kind of life, do not gamble on this industry. I'm warning you, because what you end up doing, and what I see so often, is people put their last saving on this industry and they get disappointed. And guess how he got to a stage where his furnitures has to go after, the banks are coming after his furnitures. Guess why? Yes, because of what I'm trying to tell you right now. Do not gamble with people's future. Do not play around with it. Especially if you're a teacher, is also in this industry. Because you might have one student that believe in you, put their last 10,000 on you. And if you're just doing this for the sake of the money, because you have to give away 50% to your organizer, so you do a half-ass job. Now don't forget, you give away 50% to your organizer, but your graduates still pay you, your students still pay you a full-fledged $10,000. Money that could have fed them for the next 10 months or next 20 months, depending on where they are from. Just because you receive only half doesn't mean they should or they deserve only half your effort and your time. Alright? Now, that being said, you know where I stand in my programs. You know how I am with my teaching. You can feel can you feel the passion combined with and mixed with a little bit of anger and frustrations. And most importantly, I'm telling you something. These are real value unlocked just by these results alone in the last 20 minutes. I can go on and on for the next 10 days with more and more results. But know this, that whatever you are learning today, okay, it has already produced over 20 million of results. As long as you're dedicated and disciplined for your own destiny, if you're committed, you can get your clarity and confidence. Sounds good? Have I gotten your attention that this will work for you as well? Have I shown you enough case study and across different industries, and also have I delivered the passion that I have for you? Because if so, great. Because I want to introduce you to my mentorship program. Now, before I do that, I want to teach you something really cool. Right? I want to teach you something really, really cool and help you understand why you're not getting the result you're getting. Okay? Now, when it comes to getting customers, leads, and referrals, there's really just two ways. Okay, you can fish for it or you can hunt for it. Now watch the difference. Okay, everyone that you saw before they came to me, they all have the same problem. You are not unique. You might be unique. You are not the problem. Okay, it's not your fault. You just have not been trained on all this kind of stuff, which I spent the last 20 years doing that. Okay, now, so you can go to the marketplace and try to fish for client. You can go to the marketplace and you can hunt for customers. The difference is this: when you are hunting for customers, you're door knocking, you're prospecting. Okay, you're walking up to strangers. And that's why your rejection rate is so high, because why? They don't have the intent to want your service, your product in the first place. Okay? So that's why hunting is so difficult. It can be very rewarding, but it can be very difficult as well. Success rate is usually under 3 or 2% or 1%, usually. Alright? So it's like in the past where you have to, if you are caught in a survival environment, then you have to go and spear a fish. That's hunting. Now for fishing, you have a fishing rod, a fishing line, and then you have a bait, and then you catch the fish that you want. That's fishing. That's called inbound marketing. Got it? Hunting is called outbound marketing. That's the industry term. Okay. Now today we are going to go deep and fast into inbound marketing with fishing. That's majority of the effort. That's majority of the ways. And once you learned it, you combine it with hunting, you become very powerful, both outbound and outbound. Right? Sorry, for inbound and outbound. Okay. So step one is to understand who is your dream client, who is the ideal customer that you want, that will pay you 10, 20, 100 times beyond the marketplace. You could be selling chicken rice, but there will be a group of people who will pay more than anyone else to eat a plate of chicken rice. For example, if you see it here on the screen, there is different kind of fish that sells for different premium and different prices at the market. Isn't it true? Right? The bluefin tuna, without a shadow of the doubt, is probably the highest priced item. And if you want to catch that tuna, guess what? You cannot use the same way you catch a herring. You cannot use the same way you catch a mackerel. Got it? In fact, to catch a tuna, do you know what they have to do? They have to use a fish to go and catch a mackerel, and then use a mackerel to catch a tuna. Fun fact, right? I think. That's what I think I know. Anyway, know what is it that you want. Know who is it that you can serve that is willing to pay you a premium more than anyone else. A premium doesn't mean in $1,000. A premium can be if you're selling a $10 product, raising it to $15 is still a premium. But even if your product is only 10 and you're in the industry that you cannot raise your price, who is willing to pay that $10, you know, or purchase more than anyone else? Understood? All right, that's step one. You have to find out what is it. Step two. Okay, let's go into step two. Step two is, now once you identify where are these customers, just like you want to identify that you want to go and get a bluefin tuna, all right? Now, question to you is, could you actually, right, get a bluefin tuna from this pond? You might be thinking that's crazy. Exactly. That's how most people do their business and their startup and their brand and product and marketing. They're putting their products, they're selling their merchandise and everything, their services like that. You know, I see people going to networking events that's totally irrelevant to their product. Nobody wants to go and buy their product and services. Right? And then they're just hoping that somebody will buy. That's gambling, that's hoping, that's not strategic marketing. Got it? What you want to do is, once you identify that you want a bluefin tuna, you got to go to the ocean. And even in the ocean, people still use like a sonar to find out if there is a tuna wave or not. Okay? So you got to know where are your premium customers, where are they, where do they hang out, right? Do they spend time in certain places? Do they spend time in certain website? Do they follow certain famous gurus? Do they use certain tool set or something, and things like that? Okay, where are the customers usually hanging out? Where are the customers usually go to? Where are the customers going to get information or hang out and things like that? All right, where are they? Got it? Good. Next, step three, what do tuna eat? What do they want to eat? Meaning, what is the pain point and what is the desire of those customers and clients? Got it? Now, you gotta feed them the desire that they want. When I started learning this, right, I tell you, the biggest myth out there and the mistake I see most people doing is that they only talk about pain point, they only do pain point thinking that because pain sells. No, not true. All right, pain is enough to capture their attention, is enough as a motivation to sell or to take action, but it's not enough. All right, you gotta have what they want, not just out of pain but also into gains. For example, the tuna, even how hungry it is, which is painful, right? Very hungry, very painful. Okay, tuna will still not eat seaweed. Make sense? Because they have a very specific diet. Isn't it true? So if you have what the tuna wants to eat, only when, so the pain is they're hungry, okay? The gain is you have what they want to eat. So you need to know what are they after in life. You need to know your dream clients. What do they want in life? What is their diet? What do they eat? What is their desire? What is their gain? What is their dream goals? What is their purpose in life? What is their mission? And you might be thinking, wow, Jason, I'm just selling a $10 product, or then maybe you're not suitable for this. Maybe you're not suitable for what I have, and that's fine. What I teach and what I do can't be pleased to everyone, right? But if you enjoy, if you are someone like that, this will work very well for you. Could you be selling a $10, $20 product and still find clients like that, find partners like that? Maybe not clients, not customers, but what about partners? And if you understood your dream goals, right, and their dream goals, right, could you adjust your marketing to align with their dream goals or not? If you just walk around the bazaars and the atriums of shopping malls, you notice that all the successful brands, they all know what I'm talking about. They all know what I'm teaching you right now. And that's why they are successful. That's why they are doing what they do. Right? At the end of the day, you're just not doing what they are doing. And if you do what they do, very simple. You get what they have. True? Good. All right, let's look at some case studies over now. And then after that, we will end it off soon. Now, if you're enjoying this so far, amazing. Let me know. All right. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments in whichever platform that you are watching this from. I would love to know how you feel. I would love to know about you. I would love to get to know you. And eventually, one day, maybe, hopefully, that I visit one of your cities, your country, and meet you in person. And see how far have you taken the information and how far have you taken the business to be with the information. Even if you don't join the mentorship program, that's fine. You know, as long as I hope that you created a positive impact on you. But for those of you who want a more intimate session with me, for those of you who want something deeper, want more guidance, then later at the end of this video, I will share how can you do that. Sounds good? All right, let's continue. So just by implementing, all right, let's recap on what is the three things. Number one, who is your dream client? Who is your customer, the dream client who's willing to pay you a premium over anything else? Just like a bluefin tuna versus a mackerel. They fetch very different prices. Then where are they? Are they in the pond or in the ocean? And finally, what is their gain? Not just their pain. What is their pain and what is their gain? What do they want? What diet do they eat? All right? Now, once you figure this out, what kind of result can you expect? Let me show you. This was a graduate and ex-graduate that does economics tuition. And this economics tuition, he was selling to anyone last time. He was selling to every student that needs a economics tuition. So when he first talked to me, I asked him, okay, who are you serving? Then after that, what happened is that he was facing problems like people don't pay on time, people are not motivated, they are always making trouble, and he feels like a loser. Why? Because this student made him feel awful, and he feels that he has to serve them in order to get money, so he cannot go against them. Now what happened is that the first thing that we fixed, was to change everything. Just by fixing one thing. The first thing we fix is to change the who, right? So before he came to me, he was selling to any student. After that, we work on it for several weeks, and we found out that, okay, we go after only the top 10 schools or the top 20, the prestigious schools in Singapore, such as Raffles Institute, Edison JC. Why? Because the parents can pay. They are in a better living condition, potentially, most of it. Okay? And the pain of failing the exam is stronger than anyone else. They cannot afford to fail. Not only they need to pass the exam, they cannot afford to fail. All right? So, just by making that switch alone, everything changes. He was able to raise his price, and that's how he made 100,000 in under 100 days. And he made 10,000 in one day. The next thing he did was to point all the advertisement using location advertising. We specifically point all the advertising into only the schools within a kilometer of those 10 schools. All right, that is the secret of the switch. The secrets of the success. Number one, we stop selling to everyone. Only the top 10 schools. Can you imagine if just 10% of the top 10 schools buy your service and product if you were him? Okay. Then after that, the next thing is, once we identified it, we point all our advertising to those schools, within the vicinity of those schools. So people who go to schools, parents who go to schools, sees his advertisement over and over and over again every single day. When they arrive at school, when they are in school, then they see the advertisement. Other than that, when they are at home and everything else, no, they don't see it at all. Then after that, so that's what he did. Two things, right? One, change who he sell to. Two, finding out where is the client. Okay, they're in school, right? Okay, so point. Okay, and finally, the third step is what? The third step was the what, right? What is their desire? What's their gain? Is that they need to know, the parents need to know that the children are in good hands and among the school of eagles. So what happened was that all his testimonials and pictures and everything started taking pictures with students in their school uniform, because then that creates the belonging, the sense of belonging and the superiority, right? And the being the achievers, that he trained achievers. So in essence, when that happened, right, the student want to be a part of a strong network. They don't want to be a part of lazy people as well. They want to be part of people who are motivated. All right. Then after that, next thing he did, so what I told him was start taking pictures with the students in their uniform, and then that becomes the advertisement itself. Because why? Because then those schools, that 10 schools, see each other's in each other's uniform, they want to be a part of this. That's what they want to be a part of. That's the gain. That's the diet. Make sense? Good. So that's the three things. Majority, there's a few other shifts as well, but that's the three shift. That's the three main shift. Number one, stop selling to anyone. Sell to the top. He sold to the top 10 school with the budget to pay. So that's how he can raise his price. Okay. Number two, he point all the advertisement. We point all the advertisement to only the address of the school. All right. So, thirdly, is to make sure that we feed them the gains that they want. The pain of loneliness in failing the exam and studying alone, and the gain of a new social circle among the nest and school of eagles, with a sense of belonging, with achievers, motivated, and not lazy. You see, some of these kids are very smart. They know that among the right people, they will be motivated. Among the wrong people, they join them in the laziness. So when you actually present and brand and position, that becomes very powerful. That they know that they can come into this circle and not be lazy, and be very motivated and driven. And one after another compounded effect, day after day, week after week, month after month. That's how he built all the way to 100,000 in 90 days, 10,000 in a day. Okay, so can you do that? Can you use it for your own business? How can you use it for your own company, your own business, your own product, your own brand? Right? Start thinking. Really go and start planning and strategizing. And if you need help, you can always apply and request to join the mentorship program. Submit an application if you want my help to help you find and implement what you just learned. I would love to have you, but there are some conditions to join. So you gotta apply for the request, okay? Now, one more success story is a swim school, all right? So this swim school was frustrated, same problem, frustrated. They are not getting leads, not getting customers. They are doing advertisements, and they are spending like, I think they are getting very expensive leads as well. $50 per lead is insane. So we work with them as well, right? Took over the campaign. So he joined both the mentorship and the done for you campaign as well. Jeffrey did as well, right? The previous one, the economics tutor, did as well. So what happened is that he serves, we same thing. What is his who, right? The three things that we talk about, remember? Let's recap. Who, where, and what. Okay, so the who is that we readjusted the entire who to people who actually, right, care about their swimming posture, who actually cares about wanting to swim better, rather than just teaching a freestyle swimming. We teach them, would you like to swim like a champion, like how champions do, you know. And then after that, the where is the swimming pool, and because he wants to actually get not just ordinary swimmers but also competitive swimmers who are going for Ironman and triathlon. So we repoint entire campaign to the swimming pools. We did some research on the swimming pools that are only are swarmed with people who are training for competition. So even if they are not training for Ironman or triathlons, as long as they are training for competitions, right? We find out which are the dates, which are the time, and which are the area, which are the swimming pools, and we repoint the entire campaign. Okay. So finally, the third one is the what, right? So the what is that because of the champion nature, the competitiveness. That's the what. They want to win championship, right? So you can see here, right? You can see here what we wrote. Want to learn how to swim freestyle effortlessly. Okay, that's what they want. Then look at this. Discover the little known secrets freestyle champions used to claim their gold medal. See that? That's what they want, right? So you can see that it wasn't a long copywriting. It wasn't a long copy, but it went viral, right? Over 300 shares, over 30 comments. And here's what the founder said. We earn $3 for every dollar we spend on advertising using Jason's metric system. The response was overwhelming. We had to pause ad to hire news coaches first. Wouldn't you want that? An amazing result, wouldn't you think so? Because the cost per lead reduced significantly because he was getting free leads. He was getting so much free traffic. He was going viral. Everyone knows about him. You know, over 400 shares. Can you imagine, right? Every one share had your friend list. Imagine your own friend list in Facebook. You have at least 100 friends, right? Some of you have 1,000. So 400 times 100, that's an extra 400,000 potential audience. And if you have on average there's about 1,000 friends, that's 4 million free potential views. And not excluding the tags itself in the comments. Look at how people are tagging themselves. Without us writing them, tag them, they tag themselves. Wouldn't that be cool? Right? So what if these kind of strategies and tactics and methods are applied for you, your brand, and you learn how to do it as well? Okay? So let's recap. What is the 3 secrets that really will turn your life around? Is number 1, change who you are selling to. Find a pocket of market who is willing to pay you a premium above anyone else. Second, find out where are they. Where do they hang out? Where do they like to gossip? Where do they like to read their gossips? Where do they like to go for their drinks, their beers? Where is their dream goal? Where is their office, or where do they work, and things like that? Okay. And then what are their dream goals? What that makes them tick? What are their pain points? What are the challenges? What do they want out of life? What is their aspiration, their dreams, their desires? Okay. So at this point in time, I'm sure you learned a lot, right? Now I want to review to you a secret W. Because you watched all the way to here, I want to reveal to you the big secret. And this is gonna be your real problem. Why? Because the question is, why you? Once you figure those three things out, and because you watched all the way to here, I want to bonus you with this sharing. Because the real game is not won by the best product, sadly but true. 8 out of 10 buyers, they ignore vendors who don't stand out as authorities. What does that mean? That means if the market doesn't know you, right, you don't exist at all. And 76% of buyers will choose the brand they recognize and trust, even if you are cheaper, even if you are better. It doesn't matter to them. What matters to them is they recognize and they trust. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. The game is not won by the best product. Unfortunately, sadly, it is not won by the best product. It is won, and this is a chart I want to show you. Okay, when you are at the novice level, at the lowest level, it's going to be the hardest and the most difficult to get customers and leads. And you need to level up your status in your marketplace. And as you level up, you start to earn a lot more money doing the same thing as you are doing right now. Now, let me give you some example. Does Starbucks have actually the best coffee? Yes or no? Right? It's very subjective and relative, but are there better coffee out there than Starbucks? But how come Starbucks making billions of dollars while the best coffee in a coffee chain in a neighborhood shop struggles to make even 100,000, while Starbucks make billions of dollars a year? Now another one. How about McDonald's? Do they have the best ice cream and do they have the best burger? Okay. There's probably better gelatos elsewhere. There's probably even better burgers out there. But however, McDonald's may also make billions of dollars every single year. Why? Because the game is not won by the best product. The game is won by the best known. If nobody knows about you, it has nothing to do with what you know. You're probably very good at what you do, like all my graduates are. They're very good at what they do already, but they're still struggling. Because the truth is not what you know. The truth is who knows you. And if you continue to stay invisible, it's going to be almost impossible to win at all. It's almost going to be impossible to get leads, customers easier. It's always going to be difficult. It's always going to be a challenge. It's always going to be a struggle. You're going to continue to suffer and sacrifice and still work like a slave. And once I found out these secrets, all right, what I do is I start to also implement it in my life. And that's what I tell all my graduates, that you need to do that. They need to do it as well, in ways that they can, that their industry around. For me, as a speaker, as a teacher, as a mentor, I elevate my status and my value in my marketplace via more speaking exposure, more visibility. Now, if you're in an industry, even if you're in a very commoditized industry, these can help you too. Isn't it true? Right? When you are able to speak to thousands, if not millions of people per year, remember, the game is not won by the best product alone. The game is won by the best known. If these people don't know about you, they cannot buy from you. They won't have, your story will never be heard. They will never hear about your story. They will never know about your product, how amazing it is. Right? Even Steve Jobs and Warren Buffett has to do this in order to get there. Even Elon Musk have to do this to get there. Right? So when I discovered this, I start to build up my rankings. It's really like a ranking, like a game chart. You got to build up your ranking to up your rank and increase and elevate your status in the marketplace. And then that's why you need the skills to do it. So in my mentorship program is where I teach you the skills to speak better and, most importantly, to sell better. right? The skills to network, the skills to get into opportunities like this. Okay. Now, so as I elevate my ranks, I start to realize that in the past, my I thought that I need better sales funnel, more email automation, uh, landing pages, this and that. And once I discovered this, I realized that, you know, as I get more visible, I was able to demonstrate more value, and as a result, I was able to meet very, very high quality, high achievers, high performers, and the top performers of the industry, you know. And some of these people are the movers and shakers of the industry. The kind of referrals that they give, I can never get it from advertising. And all because I rank up and elevated. Okay? Ranking up and elevated into not staying as a novice, not staying as a village chief. Some of you, maybe you are still inside a village, you're not even a village chief. Some of you, maybe you're already a village chief, but you're not a city, you're not a city chief yet, right? Okay, so the whole idea is to up your rank so that it gets easier to do business as when you're at the top of the ranks. Okay, when you're at the top of the rank, everything turns easier. And how do you do that? You need to have the skills to speak so that one day and potentially soon that you can elevate your brand very, very fast. So what I teach in my mentorship program is the skills of selling and the skills of speaking. Okay, so that when you get to meet people like them, people like this, like the mayor of one of the mayor in Singapore, and all these datos and high achievers and people like them, I teach you how to speak, how to position, how to navigate and control the conversation so that you have clarity and confidence going in, right? And then when you're into this kind of network yourself, you can create deals like that you saw in all my graduates. Okay, now for those of you thinking that, oh my god, this might be a talent, this is a talent. Okay, I grew up in this kind of environment. Even bathing, I have to cook the waters. So I did not come from riches. The floor is cement, it's a 1 bedroom apartment. We have to share the toilet. And then one day in my life, we had a terrible accident, but we were lucky. The accident could have taken us away. We were in the passenger seat, and then the driver fell asleep. The Uber driver fell asleep, and then it swerved and waved into the next traffic, the oncoming traffic. And we were so lucky because within just a few minutes later, the oncoming traffic would have hit us. And this was a very high speed traffic lane. That was the first time I realized that I could be doing nothing wrong and I would still lose out in life. Now the question to you is, what if you are doing nothing wrong? But if you don't make a change today, if you don't make a shift today, you continue to do what you are not doing wrong and you're not getting result. But what if you make a shift today? Now my second expiry that I want to share with you was when I had such a terrible shingles, bubblings and everything. It was so difficult to sleep. It was so painful. I even had Bell's palsy. My face was drooping. My energy was weak, was low. I couldn't even do anything. I couldn't speak. I was mumbling. I was stirring a little bit. And my mental state was just worse of the most terrible. It was so painful, so scary. And on top of that, after I had a fall, I found out that there was a rib fracture on my ribs. There was a fracture in my ribs, and I was lucky again. You know, in the last during my shingles episode and Bell's palsy, the first few doctors actually downplayed it. They downplayed it, thinking that it's nothing, saying that and thinking that I was trying to just maybe, you know, making things out of it. So I had to take things into my own hands. I Because the doctors don't see this as a problem, didn't saw it as a problem, they think that it was just some rashes and things like that, they just brushed me off. But deep down in my mind and body, I knew that something was very wrong. And it was after when it burst out, and I had to take things into my own hand. So I took on alternative medicine and alternative therapy. And for many, many years, I fought this virus. For many, many years, I have to fight. And I was lucky because shingles would have taken my entire body if I was not careful. I would have never been back on the stages ever again. Now, I'm sharing this story because I want you to ask yourself, I want you to check in. Which area, what else, and in your business that you are getting the wrong diagnosis as well? That people just tell you that, brush you off about your problems. They don't see the seriousness of it. They don't see the consequence of the problem. They don't see the risk of what's coming. Remember the story of Leon I told you about? How he ended up in that place in the first place? And how he put his last straw, last line, and last faith on me? Remember that? Because he also had the wrong diagnosis. He also had the wrong diagnosis and resulted in a very different direction and causing his destiny to be not very positive at that point of time. But once he make a switch, once he make the shift, and once he make a turn of the direction, a new destiny arise, a new destiny showed up, a new destiny came into existence. Okay? So I want to ask you to recheck in. Which area of your life you also experiencing the wrong diagnostics, and then you're getting prescribed the wrong direction as well, right? And then during my fall, my ribs fractured. It could have hit my lung and I could have been dead within 24 hours. And I didn't know. For many, many years, I didn't know about this at all. Until I took an x-ray when it hurt again, many, many years later. I was so painful, I couldn't breathe. I went to see the doctors, even though I hate them because of my shingles episode, right? And so many cases where I hate doctors, so to speak, right? So what I found out was that I have a fractured rib that could have punctured my lung, and because of that, during my first fall, I did not see the doctors. I did not go and get treatment. I treat it as if nothing would. I feel that I would have been so blessed in life, or maybe I don't deserve to live. I don't know, either one. That I didn't take treatments. I didn't see the doctors, and I didn't care about it. And back then, I was living alone. I moved out, quarreled with the families, moved out, and I was living on my own. I didn't know who to ask. I was too young. And then years and years later, the pain resurfaced. Went to take an x-ray, only to realize that it was caused by the same problem from many, many years ago, from the same fall. Now my question to you is this: are there underlying problems in your business and in your life right now that has already been the problem, and only now you're feeling the pain? And if you don't address it, don't fix it, and don't look at it right now, if you still don't use the right proper diagnostic of it, will you be able to fix it at all? Do you have an x-ray vision of your own business to know what kind of problems right now you're feeling the pain, But what if the problem came from years and years ago that you never knew about, that was causing your pain right now, just like my fractured rib? And now I have to do so much more to fix it. I do so much more, attend so many more treatment to fix my shingles, my Bell's palsy, plus this right now. And you know what? If only I have fixed it during the moment itself. If only I have fixed it during as it happened, and I don't procrastinate, I don't delay, I wouldn't need to go through so much trouble right now. Because to refix it costs a lot more problems, costs a lot more troubles, and it costs, tangible costs, a lot more money. Not to mention the amount of time and effort needed for it. So, if any of these stories resonate with you, now, today you can just get started for just 95 bucks. You learn to do 4 things, which is everything I talk to you about, everything I just taught you about. You learn to do 4 things. Number 1, you learn to get discovered. Number 2, you learn how to capture the attention. Number 3, you learn how to increase trust. And number 4, you learn to elevate your status and your ranks in the marketplace. All right. Now, for those of you who, for the next 5 minutes, I want to share with some of the people, for a select few who really believe in the principles. You have been a follower for a while and you want to take things to the next level and the deeper level with me, right? Then you can consider the Dream Makers program. The Dream Makers program, right, starts at 20,000, and you have me to work with you on these principles that you just learned and even more. All right. And for another group of select few of you, you have the means and ability to have someone to do most of the work for you, right? Then you probably want to consider the done for you campaigns, take over and repeat what you learned about it during these principles. All right, so that is the 3 ways you can get help after this class. Now, so there will be you have to apply and submit an request, so that if I don't see that your business is a brand that I can help with, I would have to kindly reject you. All right, so find out if you qualify and find out if I can help you by using the link below. Okay, for the 95, you can just go ahead and enroll yourself. This is for people who are just getting started, you're on a budget, or you're new to me and you want to find out more, right? You can take the $95 class first to get on with it. So as we end this class, first I want to congratulate you on staying all the way to the end of it. Second, now you have a choice. All right, now you have a choice to do nothing. You end this class, you do nothing, you leave this page, you go back to your company and you continue with frustration, confusion, and you are trapped with and stuck with no leads, no buyers, no sales. Or you can make a change today. And if you make a change today, and you decide to join one of the mentorship program, then I'll talk to you on the other side. For the rest of you, if you want to do nothing and leave this page and go back to your company with no leads, no buyers, no sales, I don't believe you are one of those, because you are still here. So make a choice, even if it's just the 95 bucks to get started, to learn more about the principles, all right? But for those of you who already like what you are hearing, you already enjoy what you are listening, you want speed, you want fast, and you want my personal help to help you elevate your rank, get discovered, build trust, and capture attention, then for the select few of you, use the link below, get in touch with my team, book a session, book a schedule, and I'll talk to you on the other side. All right, this is Jason here, and I'll talk to you soon.